Lions captured a big 6-pointer. More Pleasant is back on top, and Montego Bay United almost escaped with a win in Portmore. But we start one place and one place only, and that's at Stadium East, where there was no Nelson, no problem for Dunbeholden. This is Match Week 21 review show. Yeah, people, welcome back to Champion Fan, and we had a good week, and that's despite my big rant on Friday that we're missing some of the best players. But who were here did play well, and we have a few issues with the referee to get through. But we're going to start quickly at Stadium East, where Dunbeholden was playing to Harbour View as they were in a big celebratory mood, as Monday was their 50th anniversary as a club, and Harbour View will be hoping that they celebrate with 3 points. But Dunbeholden is very close to that 6th spot, and with Waterhouse dropping points the day before, they knew this was a big thing. The big talk, of course, before the whole game starting was 2 things. 1, if Nelson would be playing, and he sure did, he started. And 2, if any of the Harbour View national team representatives will come off the plane and play. They did. Stewart and Anglin both in the starting lineup. The question will be how would that affect their legs. Well, who was affected mostly was actually Nelson, who unfortunately, in 2 minutes of the game starting, overstretched himself and got off injured once more. It's bitterly disappointing. As I said, he's definitely a player and a superstar in this league, and once he's on the field, you want to pay attention. So it's a shame he's got to come out of the game, and a shame if he has to miss any more matches for the rest of the season. And Dunbeholden took a while to really regroup themselves from that, as their usual slick passing took a while to build up. But part of that was because Harbour was being very physical. Harbour came into this game as if it was a war, and they basically, most of the time, get into very crunching 50-50 tackles as the victor. As for their attack goes, Harbour was probably relying too much on Andre Fager's physicality up top, as they were launching a lot of long balls and hope for a knockdown from him. It wasn't effective really, and what it allowed, it allowed Dunbeholden to regain their composure and get that true Lenny Hyde football flowing once more. It took a while, but eventually they started building up some good football and were starting to control possession. And this was despite the Harbour View of physicality coming up more and more through the half. But to Harbour View's credit, there was nothing that was clear chances Dunbeholden was coming their way, but they did make a mistake in the back after a set piece that allowed Merrick to get off a shot that went through the defender's foot and down the bottom corner. It was a good goal by Merrick, but the question will be coming on Samuels, who actually was dropped for the last match against Thriller Beach, and after that gaff by his number 2, turned to the lineup. He's been on a bit of poor form lately, and he was back into the starting lineup, but it's not necessarily the most shining moment for him. The first half came to end with Dunbeholden control possession, but credit to Bernard and his men, they came out to the second half with much more purpose and much more willingness to play football on the carpet, with less long ball and less of their trying to build up in midfield. But the issue is what they've been having all year round. It got even worse when Bradford were transferred, is that they just lack that true creativity in that midfield. One of those shining sparks used to be Demar Rose, but for some reason he was dropped for this game, and Anglin, who was on tired legs, couldn't run on midfield by himself. They did try though, they were coming closer and closer, but wasn't getting off any clear chances. But you know, this is Dunbeholden, and it's nothing worse with Dunbeholden having a lead where they can simply possess and hold the ball. And they did that for their second goal. A brilliant teamwork come together where 16 passes was run up in the midfield before a nice finish to get Dunbeholden the second goal. It was pure Lenny Hyde football. Pure, if you've been watching CC all season long, it's reminiscent of it. Harbour View had no answers for it, and they still tried to build up from there, but it was too little too late as Dunbeholden completely controlled the ball and controlled the game. So much so, there was still time for another gaff by Samuels, who walked about in his own penalty box with the ball and allowed the Dunbeholden team to snatch it from him, and then it laid on a platter for Sean, who got the third goal. It was nothing but deserved for Dunbeholden, who I thought was clearly the better of the two teams here. But it was the same old issues for Harbour View, show little promise but with little result. The game, of course, ended 3-0. So let's look at the stats again. So for this game, Dunbeholden had 13 total shots compared to Harbour View 7. 5 shots were on target for Dunbeholden, with a majority of those coming in the second half, and get this, 0 shots for Harbour View. They tried 2 different styles of attack, one in the first half long ball and the second half they try to build more, but it still lack the creativity. It's a big problem, and if they survive in the league this season, there's something they have to address in the summer. So yeah, Dunbeholden 3 on the spin for Dunbeholden now, and put them in the firm position in top 6 now, with Waterhouse dropping points. We'll get more on that later. So once more, it finished Dunbeholden 3, Harbour 0. Okay, on to the next match. We're now going actually back in time to Sunday at Jerusalem Mini Stadium, where Limehall was quote-unquote playing at home to Mullines United. With Treasure Beach win in midweek has now put pressure on Mullines United again. Treasure Beach have now come within 5 points of the team from Kingston, while Limehall, well, have tiny hopes of still making it, but if they're going to start having any hope, is of a start with a victory here. Well, credit to where credit is due. I have given Limehall some hard due over the last couple of weeks of lacking fighting spirit, but they showed it here. While Mullines, they have the better to play, and of course are way better of the run of shots on goal, especially in the first half. Mullines do their best to keep it tight at the back. They did try to eliminate as much as possible clear-cut chances and did make it tough for Mullines in midfield and defence. They even tried their best to counter 1 and 2, which came close. So I have to give Limehall credit. Mullines was basically frustrated in the first half. They did play some good football. As usual, their top 3 is connecting even without Jason Wright in the lineup, but they couldn't necessarily find a necessarily go-ahead goal. Second half was even more of the same. Mullines was definitely coming down the right hand side, which everybody know that is a weakness for Limehall in their defence. I was trying to get something going, but Limehall repelled him over and over. But in a twist of turn of events, Limehall somehow went up the other end, and when Mullines keeper Peter Harrison came out to the box to intercept a long ball, the ball fell to Limehall main striker Hilton, who got a shot off, and thanks to a nice deflection, it got past Harrison in goal. Sure, the deflection aided a bit, but you know, Harrison will probably feel disappointed with that one. But Mullines didn't let that deter them. They keep playing their football, they keep connecting, and they keep attacking that left-hand side of Limehall's defence, which seems clearly to be their weakness. So much so that they came with a good ball from the right wing that went across the 6-yard box and found Dennis at the back post to give them a much-deserved 1-1 draw at this point. Limehall at this point, I think, lost their spirit and will to fight, as the wave and wave attacks was now coming from Mullines. So much so that a bit of controversy happened where the Mullines forward was in on goal once more, but was pushed into the back into Williams in goal, but the ball still find its way to trickle over the line. Sure, that is a goal, 2-1, right? But then, no, it wasn't quite far. But the fourth official did inform the referee that he had to blow his whistle for the foul before the ball go over the line. Whoops, a big mistake by the referee here. Because of this note, the penalty has to be taken, and Williams came up big in Limehall goal to preserve the 1-1 at this point. Bitterly disappointed for Mullines. They may be feeling this is just not their day. But again, credit to them. They keep fighting, keep coming down that left hand side. They play another ball almost similar to the first goal across the box. This time Dennis couldn't push it over, but they switch it up. They came down the right hand side of the Limehall defense next time and got a ball in that came off a hand, and a penalty was called. This time was the right choice by the referee, and Jeremy Nelson, who missed the initial penalty, he got a second bite of the cherry. I was no mistake this time as he put the way to Williams right. So 2-1, and much deserved victory for Mullines. A big 6-pointer really, as this now will give them a little bit more breathing space. It was especially more satisfying that Jason Wright wasn't there. While Limehall, again, credit to them, they did put up a fight this time. Anyway, what were the stats like for this one? Well, Limehall, despite their more spirited effort, only had 2 total shots in the entire game compared to 8 from Mullines. They did manage to score from 1 shot on target though, and that's all they needed, while Mullines had 1 shot on target. So 10 corners for Mullines though, as they were trying their best, while Limehall only had 4 corners in response. 4 yellow cards for Mullines, 2 for Limehall. So yeah, pretty much sum up what happened in this game. Limehall showed a bit of fight, Mullines quality paid out in the end. So again, a big win for Mullines, especially what happened with Treasure Beach and Tivoli a bit later. So this helps them with some breathing space. Anyway, again it finishes Limehall 1, Mullines United 2. So the other game at Jerusalem, it was Waterhouse hosting Mount Pleasant. Now Waterhouse was coming past the biggest win of the season after going down to home line and dropping 5. Mount Pleasant have been fighting to score multiple goals themselves after being only scoring 1 goal in each of the last 2 matches. So they come into this one hoping to jump over our idle Cavalier, who would never play until the following day. this one went fairly to script as it was pretty much even in the first half, with Mount Pleasant shading the runner play a bit. Mount Pleasant was creating a bit more of the half chances. They got the 1 and 2 shots on target, but Waterhouse was holding firm. The only issue with Waterhouse, they didn't have much going forward. They were missing Andre Fletcher for this one, but no excuse when Mount Pleasant were missing 6 players in their lineup. It quickly came the second half, and Waterhouse started the second half much stronger, as they often do at home, with Denard Thomas running more of the play in midfield. He was clearly getting more confident, and he was now taking on that back line to one point that he even get to the byline and couldn't just finish off with a proper square. But the best chance for him and Waterhouse came right after that, where a good corner came in and he was free as a bird in the box, but somehow got his header off target. That was going to prove deadly, as Mount Pleasant got more back into the game for the second half, playing more of their style, and while they weren't creating too much clear-cut chances, it felt like a goal was coming. What a goal that came eventually. Kimoni Bailey, who started off this season on fire, has cooled and simmered a bit since his unfortunate accident late last year. While he was being back in the starting lineup, never felt like the same Bailey was coming back. But that was trademark volley by Kimoni Bailey for this goal. Look at this left foot shot once again, people. Boom, right in the back corner. And it was a glorious strike, and he could felt that collectively he, Topper Whitmore, and the Mount Pleasant fans saw a sign of relief that went to the top corner. Mount Pleasant, again, good play, but was finding goal scoring difficult. But that one was one of the best to savour. And from there, they manage the game. Waterhouse, as usual, have the biggest issue where they're down and chasing the game. They don't have a clear plan. So they didn't manage to put up any real threat in the opposite direction. And the game petered out to a more pleasant 1-0 victory. It was a good goal by Bailey and a good performance by the entire team, really. Especially, again, when they're missing 6 crucial players. Anyway, let's look at the stats for this one and see what happened exactly. So yeah, Waterhouse only had 3 total shots in the entire game, which is a bit poor at home, against Mount Pleasant 5 in total. Waterhouse only managed 1 shot on target, while Mount Pleasant had 2 shots on target, including again that nice volley. 5 corners to Waterhouse, one of those they should have scored from. 9 corners for Mount Pleasant. 4 yellow cards for Mount Pleasant, 1 from Waterhouse. So yeah, Waterhouse issues at home and lack of depth on the bench came back to bite them in the end. Thomas will be ruining that miss from the corner, but I still think he played well. Again, it finishes though. Waterhouse 0, Mount Pleasant 1. We're going to go all the way to Clarendon for our next one. We're going to go to Vere United, who's hosting Arnett. If you're going to talk about big wins last week with Waterhouse, Vere even had a bigger win when they trounced Lima 6-2 at the same venue. But Arnett is a whole different type of kettle of fish, and they were coming here despite missing their top 2 attackers in Reed and Kaheem Dixon. But what is even more impressive with them of late, they have had teams goalless in the last 2 outings, all on the road as well. So how would this one fared? Vere being more confident with their attackers, or Arnett new resolute defense? Well, again, it went to script. Vere was the much better of the 2 teams, and they did play some good football and carve out a lot of chances. They didn't manage to get any into the back of the net, while Arnett simply scrap and survive. They held a defensive unit, but they couldn't muster anything going forward, but they still make one good play off when Granville came up and got a goal in the 22nd minute. From there, they didn't really connect much passes from there or much of an attack, but the defense was resolute. And again, this is another clean sheet for them, 3rd in a row, and all 3 came on the road. While Vere is the same old problems, despite blitzing Limeball by 6, the recent issues that they've been playing well, getting shots on target, but not finishing. So it happened to them once more at home at the worst time. But it was a valiant effort by Vere, and I still think they'll be safe. While Arnett, all that matters at this time of the year is just getting 3 points. So kudos to them. So again, it finished Vere 0, Arnett 1. What was the stats like for this one, people? Well, as I said to you, Vere was all out attacking. Vere had 12 total shots compared to Arnett 5. Vere managed 3 shots on target compared to Arnett's 2. 7 corners to Vere to 1 to Arnett. And 3 yellow cards to Arnett compared to 2 from Vere. So Vere definitely need one of those strikers to come consistent towards the end of this back end of the season. While Arnett, I have to give Coach Gilbert and the Arnett team much apologies and respect. After I complained and berated them for their defensive effort in that Gardens derby a couple of weeks ago, They went onto the road 3 times and with 3 clean sheets. And this one was even without Joel Cunningham in back there. But anyway, it finished Vere 0 and it won. Now we're going to go to Fernita Park where a big clash in this one where Portmore is hoping to get past Cavalier as well. And Cement has stopped 2 were hosting Montego Bay United. Montego Bay United played well on the road in Drexel last week. Was hoping to repeat the same when they came here to Fernita Park. And so they did. They played much better in the first half. Portmore was trying to be pragmatic as usual, but Portmore was really going well with their passing and eventually got Courtney Allen in on goal, who finished off in the 39th minute. Portmore had to come out of them shell a bit to try to get back into this one, and it wasn't really working for them. They weren't really connected enough passing and causing enough threats, but it did carve up some half chances that they didn't quite finish off. Sometimes because of their play this season, we forget that Portmore is still a young team, and sometimes experience will come in handy. And this is where Rudolph Austin, 37-year-old Rudolph Austin, came into the game and came up trumps when he found the equalizer in the 87th minute to give Portmore a vital 1-1 draw here against Montego Bay United. It was much needed, and it's not the first time he has come to rally the troops and learn to avoid defeat. While Montego Bay United, I think this is the second time in back-to-back weeks they felt that they deserved 3 points out of the game. And with Waterhouse dropping points, this was vital points for them to also secure. 3 points here that do them very well towards that top 6. But anyway, it finished 1-1. Let's look at the stats for that though. So Portmore had 9 total shots compared to Montego Bay 9 total shots. Pretty even. Portmore also had 5 shots on target compared to 6 by Montego Bay United. 5 corners for Portmore United compared to 2 for Montego Bay United. 1 yellow card apiece. So yeah, it definitely shows in the stats that these teams were fairly even, and while Montego Bay got the early lead, there weren't no clear dominant team in this one. But so a point apiece was probably a fair result. Once again, it finished Portmore United 1, Montego Bay United 1. Now to what I thought was going to be the most intriguing game, probably the most watched game of the round, was Treasure Beach, who was surging in form after they found new life in midweek, was hosting Tivoli Gardens. Tivoli was without Justin Dunn, and Treasure Beach were normally very secure at Stets. Portmore has been the only team this season has come to Stets and scored 3 points. Treasure Beach. So my hopes were high for this one, for Treasure Beach to make it tough on Tivoli. How wrong I was. Tivoli immediately got out with Fuller in the second minute to get a goal lead, and from there Treasure Beach was not even on the park. Tivoli was all gunzo, and they basically got the second in the 70th minute when Fuller got his brace. Nelson came good then after that in the 33rd minute to get 3-0 up, and right before halftime it was basically an Arsenal show where Lewis put up the 4th for Tivoli. Treasure Beach came out in the second half with some little pride, but it wasn't enough as Boyd put the 5th in the 64th minute, and from there it was basically child's play as nobody was even bothering playing a real football at that point. The game just basically ran out in minutes and ended an easy Tivoli 5-0 victory in Stets. So yeah, very disappointed when Treasure Beach is how the stats say on their behalf. They only had 5 total shots in overall compared to 14 by Tivoli, as they were hungry for goals today. Treasure Beach only had 2 shots on target compared to by 7 on target by Tivoli Guns. 4 corners apiece, 2 yellow cards for Treasure Beach compared to 1 for Tivoli. Yes, so definitely this is a battering. After Treasure Beach had done so well to come so close to Malines, it seemed to let it slip again. I have no idea what kind of performance that was when you're fighting for survival and you're at home. While Tivoli have showed once and for all, I must not doubt them. When they're ready, they're ready. When they're ready to play some good football, it's hardly anything can stop them. And they showed it here today. There was no need for Dunn for this one, and they proved the case. So once more, it finished Treasure Beach 0, Tivoli 5. Okay, so the final game of the round was Cavalier was playing at home to Humble Lion. Now, Humble Lion is a team that's been very difficult lately to predict. Every time I believe they're going to put up more of a showing, they have disappointed me and they have disappointed their fans. Losing 5-1 to Waterhouse last week was inexcusable, so it was interesting to see how they approach this one. Cavalier, though, I thought with so many players missing and they're just returning from their concuff duties, they would have be, a bit more pragmatic in their way they go. But I did mention in the preview that Relive Speed is a hard man to read, and despite so many changes to the lineup, Cavalier was off his shackles, as I often say, and was playing some pretty football in this one. So much so that it overwhelmed Humberline, especially in the first half. But they run up into a brick, and that's a brick wall, that is. That Shamal Briscoe was the main man of the match for this one in the Humberline goal, as he repelled shots after shots from Cavalier. These were clear-cut chances as well, but he was up for the task, and he did it for majority of the game, not just in the first half, as you can see from these highlights, but much in the second half as well. And in football, you know how the story goes. If you don't take your chances, the worst team will normally find a way through set piece. And so said, so done. As Humberline off a good set piece, saw the ball drop to Andre Clennon, who did a nice chest touch and put a right-footed shot past the keeper. 1-0. Humberline was probably in dreamland and felt that this could be their day, while Speed and Spain probably wondering what's going on. To their credit, as usual, that didn't stop them from their length of attack, and they kept going and going again. Atkinson and Jamel Calvin, as usual, I thought had a great game, and they would keep getting in behind, but could not find the finishing touch past Briscoe. But it eventually came, and I must admit, Briscoe's defense let him down big time on the goal. Irving got all the time in the world to put it across from the left-hand side, where the defense put no pressure on him. And then, with Calvin being the only player in the box, Humberline, two defenders somehow lost the white shirt and gave him a free header pass. Briscoe, nothing the stellar keeper can do, but the Humberline defense really let him down there. 1-1 at this point, and you feel that, well, with a buckle of the pressure, Cavalier will be coming for that second, and they did try. But I just slated that defense, but they did redeem themselves. When the ball was playing in the box and Briscoe came out and was floored to the deck, it was up to his defensive men to keep the ball somehow out of the back of the net. All 3-4 then stood up at the line and did their best to replicate what the keeper's been doing all night long. And it worked. Cavalier was repelled once more, and they had to regroup and come again. But that they did, and they did find a way through the box, get it past Briscoe and putting the ball back in the net. But oh no, the referee said that's not a goal, and they basically set this knee to the head to Briscoe when he had the ball past the keeper as a foul. I don't think I necessarily agree with that one, referee, and I can tell you Speed himself after the game was absolutely furious with the level of calling by the referee. But those are the breaks. If you remember earlier in the season, Cavalier got a goal after what should have been a handball. As they say, it balances out through a tough season. But anyway, the whistle was blown right after that, and it ended Cavalier 1, Humberline 1. So how the stats for this one? Well, Cavalier, as I stated, dominated completely. They had 13 total shots compared to Humberline 7. 3 shots were on target according to the official stats, but I don't think that's correct. I clearly think they had way more than that on target, as Briscoe stood on his head. 2 for Humberline in return. 13 corners for Cavaliers compared to 1 by Humberline, and only 1 yellow card in the game that went to Cavalier. Cavalier should be fuming. 1 for the call, I think, was a bad one, but more for because their lack of finishing. They clearly played better, but they missed out on 3 points. Anyway, once again, it finishes Cavalier 1, Humberline 1. So how that leaves us in terms of the point standing? Well, we have a new leader now. Mount Pleasant's on top after the 21 games with 46 points. But Cavalier is not far behind. They have 44 points with 20 games, so a game in hand. But let us see how that goes when they face Arnett Thursday night. Tivoli is in third with 41 points after leaping Portmore, who is also on 41 points but dropped to 4th on goal difference. Arnett is in 5th after some good role play lately with 38 points after their 20 games. Dunbeholden is back in the top 6. They have 33 points after their 21 games. Waterhouse dropped to 7th on 30 points. Montego Bay remains in 8th with 28 points. Vere is in 9th with 22 points. Malines is now in 10th with 20 points. Harbour View is too close to relegation. They're in 11th with 19 points. Humberline is still dangling too close, but they have 19 points. Treasure Beach missed a big chance to come closer though. They remain outside safety at 13th spot with 12 points. And Lime is where they always been, in the last spot with 7 points. So yeah guys, that is match week 21. Good football. I eventually enjoyed it a lot despite all my ranting. I'm going to end this week as giving some props to Humberline and Limehall. Limehall didn't win or get a point, but I do like the fight much better than I was seeing the last couple of weeks. While Humberline that's more the spirit they need to keep on the table. They hope the coach is buying Briscoe a drink on this fine day. But that's it here from us here at Jamaican Fan. If you're brand new here, please like, subscribe and share as we discuss all things Jamaican Premier League right here on Jamaican Fan. Big up on yourself, YouTube.